What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 317, not part 3, part 17 of my reviewing and ranking King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard studio albums, album number 17. But the album, which came out in 2021, we're almost catching up to where we are right now in June 2024, is LW Explorations into Microtonal Tuning, Volume 3, hence my saying 3 earlier. There's a little 3 on the album cover. Yeah, because it is a microtonally tuned album, it does have that sort of Eastern sound to it, or sometimes maybe flirting with Middle Eastern sounds, or pretty much flirting with sounds that our Western ears, especially here in the States, are not accustomed to listen to. So it does have a little bit of a, I don't want to use the word exotic, but a foreign, but in a good way. So I guess that is exotic sound to it, a very appealing sound, a very fits right in with the sort of psych explorations that are going on this album. It is still very much a King Gizzard album. A lot of drum, a lot of percussion are driving a lot of these songs. And then over the percussion, you have a lot of acoustic instruments and electric instruments kind of working together. And so you'll get sort of like intros that are like maybe led by an acoustic instrument or like a cleaner sound. Then there's usually like a drop at some point where maybe a guitar comes in. It's not as guitar heavy as some of their other ones, especially like Infest the Rat's Nest or Murder of the Universe, or, you know, things they'd released in the past couple years. But it still has a heavy sound. It still has a heavy psych sound. It's still not an acoustic light thing, but the use of instruments and the layering of them produces the heaviness more than just like some really, you know, loud distorted guitar. Though the last track on here, which is LW, is, you know, kind of KG was the one before this, which was the Microtonal Tuning Volume 2. The covers are similar. And they both open up, or KG opens up with a specific theme, a short little theme, that this one, the final track, KGLW, closes with that theme, but in a really awesome, heavy, doomy, sludgy, just kind of that kind of sluggish metal type thing. That's absolutely fantastic. A very patient, they resist the urge to drop into any sort of manic freak out and keep things pretty restrained and like hold back that energy. So it is almost like part 2 of KG. And I do think it complements that album really well. Interesting though, the opening of this one starts off almost like you would imagine the opening of the first one does, but starts off with a song called If Not Now, When? If Not Now, Then When? Sort of the rabbinical question of, you know, if you're not going to stand up and defend somebody now, when are you going to do it? What's his name? That awesome book came out a long time ago. Primo Levi's book about the Holocaust. Absolutely just fantastic. But this title is, I think, evoking that, but talking more about 21st century woes, the environment. If we're not going to stand up and try to save humanity now, when are we going to? A lot of the theme of a lot of the lyrics on here, though, in no way heavy or preachy. Heavy, but I don't think preachy, and I think the way the lyrics are delivered works really well within the music, as always. You know, a lot of the delivery of the vocals, the lyrics, the vocals are very percussive. They have that percussive element that King Gizzard always has. And so while the lyrics themselves are heavy, the vocals like mix in well with the vibe. But If Not Now, Then When opens up with this like chaotic sort of, you know, coming out and opening up like a big song and an encore where everybody's just kind of doing something on their own instrument. And this goes on for like, I think like over a minute, close to a minute. And then right when we reach what we think is going to be like a loud kind of jumping into the heavy song, this really awesome keyboard sound comes in. It's like boom, 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 just awesome groove. And then the drums do this really cool fill. And then we're into this really tight psych funk. It's definitely not as grand as that opening salvo is letting us to believe, but it's so tight and it's so funky and it's so psyche and it's so good, and we're off. The second song, One, O-N-E, not the awesome song by Yesayer. The only weird edit on this album, and King Gizzard I think is usually much better about doing this than they do here, is the transition from It Not Now Then One. Almost all these songs segue directly into each other, if not musically as on previous albums, like say Nonagon Infinity, but like before song A fades out, song B is already starting. Like there's not like space between them where like, oh, obviously we're on the next track. You know it's the next track musically, but there is that like King Gizzard get right into things type vibe. But the transition from It Not Now Then One, we bring it completely down, and it's kind of a weird, it's the only one that kind of doesn't work. But we get this really quiet intro, and then again we get this awesome sort of keyboard bounce into like this heavier vibe. We get this nice break in the middle of the song where the guitar just kind of goes off by itself. That's pretty much what guitar is doing a lot on this. Is a couple of these songs have solos in the middle or little breakdowns or like a short little jam at the end. But the guitar is used very well though, and though as a star of the songs sparingly. In the middle of one, it gets to be a star. Pluria has a nice acoustic intro before we get like a heavier drop in it. Lyrically, a darker song. Mention of the other one, not the other one, the orange one a couple times. The Orange Baby. Here in the States, I can't, maybe that's about Trump. I don't know why it would be about Trump, but here, if you get a reference to some mysterious or nefarious orange creature here in the States, it's usually Trump. So I don't know if that's what the reference is. We get Supreme Ascendancy, which is kind of questioning people in power who get away with obvious crimes. Maybe a tie into what the previous song was about. Very interesting. I think the phrase Orange Man is referenced in this song. This is just like a strange, weird psych pop song. We get Static Electricity, which has this nice spacey intro. Then we go into like a nice acoustic intro with some nice like sort of dramatic type beats, like leading us into the main song. This one kind of reminds me, again, it has that sort of, like, there's a definite groove there, but it's kind of low key. Reminds me of a cross between like an early Jethro Tull song and like, again, Fleetwood Mac's World Turning, just the way that groove is. Cool, moody, nice little jam at the end. East-West Link, I think, is maybe the weakest song on here. Nice atmospheric, some nice keyboards. Just feels like it needs maybe something a little bit more to make this song work. It's short, it's like 3 minutes. Then we get the absolutely amazing Ataraxia. We all need some Ataraxia, which is some peace of mind. Awesome opening guitar riff in this. After I think it's a verse chorus structure, but there's a point in the middle, what feels like the second verse, where the guitars, the keys, everything is out, and it's just the bass and the drums for like a verse. And that's a really just an awesome space right there. Super funky before all the instruments come back in. Just awesome performance. Awesome song. See Me has a really nice acoustic percussive riff. We drop into like a percussive intro, kind of sets up a groove, and then we drop into another groove. And then the last song, 8.5 minutes of sludge, doom, metal, KGLW, absolutely fantastic. Starts off with the same theme from KG that opened up the previous album, but it's a little bit heavier. I think it's a little more like electric guitar, though it's not like a really distorted electric guitar. And then we go into this really nice doom riff. And then we go into this really sick kind of slow chugging groove. And the lyrics to this are just KGLW. And then there's something else about being a man or something like that. But not a lot of lyrics, a lot of music. It's 8.5 minutes long. They never actually like do that drop where they freak out and go into like King Gizzard motoric mode or like, some krautrock, hyperactive krautrock. They resist the urge to go crazy. They keep it patient. They keep it restrained. And it's an awesome 8.5 minutes of like sludgy doom music, man. It is just absolutely brilliant. And it's a great way. If this is intended as a 2-album thing, the KG and LW, with this track being called KGLW, it's an awesome ending to the journey that is these 2 albums. But yeah, I love this album. It is fantastic. If you've been watching these, you know that I love pretty much all of these albums. So the ranking, even though it is all the way at number 8, that does not mean that my love is, that means that the ones that are above it are somehow better than this awesome, awesome journey. I do think KG, the songwriting is a little more consistent from start to finish, though I do think maybe my couple favorite songs might be on LW. But yeah, I have it right there, right towards the middle. I mean, they're all fantastic. I mean, you can't go wrong with, really can't go wrong with any of them. But I have it at number 8 for right now. All right, that's all I got. Just wondering, yeah, let me know what you think about this album, where you would rank it, all that kind of stuff, anything you want to say about anything. Australian psych music, the awesomeness that is KGLW, the band, the song, who cares? But that's it. Yeah. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.